Hello, welcome along, welcome to this new channel, which I don't even know what I'm going to call yet. But if you've watched me from my modelling channel, Nigel's Modelling Bench, you'll know me, nearly 32,000 subs now. And if you've seen my Land Rover channel, you'll know me from that one. And there's also Nigel's Mustang channel, which has now been removed because the Mustang is going. And the Mustang is for sale today, actually with Motorway. Today is Friday the 20th of June, 2025. And the Mustang is over there in the garden, and hopefully somebody will put a decent bid in for it, and then I can make room. As you know, since I've had the Mustang, it's lived in the garage, but now I've got this, which, as you can see here, it says it's a Fiat 131. It's actually a Super Mercury. It says it over there, look. And this channel is going to be all about the Fiat 131 with a big slant on the 131 A-bar. So this channel's new. I'm not new to YouTube, but the channel's new, so you may be, like I say, I might be new to you. This car is new to YouTube. This car is actually new to the UK. It's only just come in here it arrived on the 1st of June. Talk about that more in a minute. So yeah, this channel will be all about the story, the building, the going forward, whatever, with this car, and also some historical stuff. I've got some great book reviews. I'm a keen modeler, as you know, and I've got lots of kits of different scales and different sizes and stuff of the 131 A-bar. So may do some of that on her as well, but also over on Nigel's Modelling Bench. So yeah, all in all, it should be quite an interesting little channel if you are into the Fiat 131. So which I am. This is my 5th one. I've had 4 previously, and I wish I still had them now. My last Series 1 I think I sold for £400, and now you pay £400 for a front grille for a Series 1. So yeah, that's how things have gone. This one here is actually a Series 3. This car, it's 27th of May 1982, first registered. It's left-hand drive. It's come across from Italy with a lot of help from the brilliant Gabriele Amati. He's been absolutely awesome. He's got his own YouTube page, and he's part of Rally Sport Development, and he also he does all the uploads for Facebook for Rally Sport Development. If you want to go and have a look on there, they basically build Fiat Abarth. I don't want to call them replicas. They're probably better than the original car. They're absolutely incredible. I know they're more powerful, and they make literally everything. So it's very interesting to go and have a look at what they do over there. So yeah, story of this car. I wanted a 131. I decided I wanted to get a 131 and build it using the skills of Rally Sport Development to convert this 4-door into a 2-door, which is what they do. So I started looking around and spoke to Gabriele, because I was, involved with Rally Sport Development, and he agreed to help me out, and he was absolutely amazing. And I'd see a car and he'd go to the dealer and say, can we have some photographs or a video, whatever. And the first one was pretty much identical to this one, but the dealer wouldn't go around the front of the car, and it just didn't seem right. So we left that one alone. And then Gabriele found a Series 1, which is what I really wanted, a green one, and it looked amazing. It looked really good. But Gabriele, being as keen as he is, he got the dealer to put it up on a ramp and make a video of the underside, and they walked around underneath, and no, it wasn't very nice at all underneath. It was obviously very nice paint. I know the word I want to use. It starts with polish and ends with erd. I think that's what it was. So we didn't bother with that one, and I'd previously seen this one, and I said, what about that? What about this one? I'd have a look, because obviously I don't want to go and spend, you can spend 20,000 euros on an immaculate standard car. You can spend 30,000 euros on a sport or a racing. But I didn't obviously want to do that if I'm going to cut it up. So I just want to get the cheapest, most solid thing I could find. So so I said about this one that I found on a British website, believe it or not, and it turned out it was just around the corner from Gabriele. So he was able to go and see it for me. And he went to see it, and he came back and he said, buy it. It's great for the project. It's got one bit of rust on it, which you get to see it in the video in a minute. It's absolutely amazing. Obviously, it's got little specks of surface rust and stuff, but actual serious hull corrosion. It's amazing. I mean, I can lift this up on my ramp on its sills, and it's a 42-year-old Fiat, you know. I remember welding, I mean, I remember back in, I think it was about 1989, I had my grey 131 Sport, which was really nice, and that was an X-Reg, so the same age as this. And I had to get a replacement door for that. And that was in 1989. This thing's got 4 solid doors on it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievably nice. It really is like a time warp. So yeah, so those of you who are wondering, how did I get over here? Looked up on a company called Shipley. Having Gabrielle in Italy was absolutely fundamental, I think, because basically I've paid over thousands of euros to someone I've never met for a car I've never seen. And that's a hell of a gamble. But, you know, I had to trust him. He's so good. And I speak to Kevin as well up in Malton, the British side of Rally Sport Development. And yeah, unbelievable. Really, really good. So, and he said to me, Gabriel's probably the most honest man you'll ever meet. So there you go. And it turns out he is absolutely brilliant. So anyway, yeah, found the car. Gabriel looked at it, said go and buy it. I had to then find out how to get it brought over. Obviously paid the money and everything. Then the guy who owned it was a guy called Giorgio. It turns out he was amazing. The car was basically for sale as seen. It was a restoration project. But to come to the UK, it had to be deregistered in Italy. And to be deregistered in Italy, it had to be MOT'd. And it hadn't been driven, I don't think, since 2008. So 2008, obviously the tyres were all perished. I think he must have put replacement wheels on it for the MOT because the tyres would no way have passed. But I know for a fact it had sticky brakes and the brakes have all been done. A couple of brake pipes have been replaced by looking with brand new brake pipes. He's replaced this rear light because you can see there that rear wing, that rear wing there is all dented and that lens was broken, so he's replaced that for me. The driver's door handle was ripped off in an accident because the driver's door is all stoved in. Absolutely such a shame. It's an absolutely solid rust-free door but stoved in. And yeah, so he put the door handle on for me and it runs like a dream. The carburetor needs to be rebuilt. It's obviously been stood around a long time, and when it's running you can look down in the carburetor and you can see there's a lot of moisture in there, shall we say. It's just permanently flooding, I think. So so there we go. So yeah, found the car. It got through its MOT, got deregistered, and then I got the all clear to go and collect it. So I contacted a company called Shipley online, Shipley, S-H-I-P-L-Y. Absolutely brilliant. They go out to contractors who you basically put in where the car's coming from, where it's going to. That's it. And then interested contractors contact them, and you end up with a list of names, and then slowly they start bartering against each other, and then you just choose the one you want to go with. Some of them were very cheap, but you have to be very careful if you are thinking about doing this, because the cheapest ones wanted to drive the car back, and there's no way this car could be trusted to drive that far. More about that in a bit. So so I used a company called Dan, absolutely brilliant. Move Cars for You or something like that they're called. Absolutely brilliant. They brought the car over, door-to-door service with a smile. I mean, and then got it here and it had to be registered. So spoke to Dan and he recommended this company called My Car Import, who I actually got a quote from to bring the car over, but it was more than using Dan. And I'd looked on eBay, on YouTube, and there's lots of videos on YouTube that tell you all about how easy it is to register a car. Well, other than one that I've seen, they're all wrong. They all talk about how easy it is to do. I think it was about October, maybe September 2024, the rules changed, and the first thing you have to do now is pay the customs. And to do that, you need to do it through an agent. You can't do that yourself. So obviously you have to have somebody who's registered to do it. So Dan recommended I go with My Car Import, and they just do this all-in service. Basically you pay them the money and you get number plates and logbook. And if I tell you that this car was imported, it came into this country on the 1st of June. Today's the 20th and I've got the number plates and the logbook in the house. It's done, it's registered, it's legal on the UK, on UK roads. No MOT, no tax, it's ready to go. So yeah, really, really pleased. So and I'll put a link in the description down below. Fantastic service. James has been absolutely astounding. He's been brilliant. So so there we go. So it's here. And that's basically it really. So I just want to say in this little intro bit, I've told you what the channel's going to be doing, what we're going to be looking at. Please do subscribe. Please hit the subscribe down here. And it'd be good to have you on board. And if you've come across from Nigel's Modelling Bench, let me know. I'll recognise your name anyway. And if you are new and you're just here because you love Fiat 131s, please let me know. Let me know what you're doing, what you've got and everything. I've actually put a couple of pictures up, a picture up on the Fiat 131 page on Facebook. And yeah, lots of people think I shouldn't be doing this and I shouldn't, you know, ruining another beautiful Series 3. Of all the Mirafiores, I think the Series 3 is probably the least attractive. When they clad it all in plastic and everything, these great big daft bumpers that run from wheel arch to wheel arch. Basically, you know, below this line here, below these lights, around the whole car is just plastic in the bottom. It's just, I just think it ruins the lines of the cars really. My favourite is the Series 1 with the little T-shaped backlights, which is why I've bought a Series 1 rear panel and Series 1 rear lights to go in here. So it will look a lot prettier than these great things. So there'll be lots of parts coming off this car which will be for sale. Unfortunately the doors will not be for sale, more about that later. And yeah, so hopefully you'll enjoy what you see. I'll give you a quick walk around the car now and then we'll look at what I'm doing at the moment. And then that'll be that. And as I say, at the moment I don't even know what I'm going to call the channel. I'm not going to call it the Fiat 131 channel because that would be downgrading everybody else's Fiat 131 channel, wouldn't it? So I may call it a Fiat 131 channel or Nigel's Fiat 131. Yeah, maybe that. Nigel's 131s. Oh, that sounds good. Nigel's 131s. Yeah. Right, let's go and have a look at the car. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of video now with a walk around, which I know some people don't like, but it's the only way to do it. So I'm going to go around and just show you the car how it is, and you will see that it's absolutely solid except for one little bit. So we can see right here we've got these great big bumpers. They're horrible. We've got the lovely pressed steel wheels. The tyres are absolutely shot. I don't know if you can see that there. They're absolutely, totally and utterly perished. You can see here the rubber is just absolutely gone. Look at it. So I put 4 new tyres on it. Luckily they're cheap. It's had a dent there and it's been repaired and then it's been dented again. You can see it's got a bit of body filler in it, but that's not to worry. They're all going to be going anyway. And then looking all around the trim, we've got a lovely scratch there where it's hit something. Looking at all the lovely trim, it's all really nice. All this is going to get sold on. The doors are absolutely solid. You can see there's bits of surface rust which I've gone over with some killer just for now. There's the dent in the roof I was talking about. You can see there's just there's a little depression in the roof, so I'm not too worried about that. The interior is gorgeous. You can see the seats are in really nice condition, very like they haven't been sat in. And believe it or not, this car still has from the factory the plastic on the door cards. There's the door card for the front driver's door. Obviously it's left-hand drive, and that's still got the plastic on too. You see the backs of the seats there looking lovely. And then you can come around, go into the front. You can see here, no gearbox, more about that in a minute. You can see here how it's all looking. Really, really nice. The dashboard's in great condition, no cracks or anything. So if anyone wants a left-hand drive dashboard, let me know. But there we go, we can see driver's seat is a little bit worn. It's a little bit threadbare on the corner and down here. But because it's left-hand drive, if anybody's got this interior in this country and they want new seats, then these seats, as you can see, they're like they're bloody gorgeous. But the doors, I don't know if I can get the camera down there. You can see the bottoms of the doors are absolutely solid. See, it's just shiny paint under there. Unbelievable. Like I say, it's like a bloody time warp. When you look at the sills, you can come along here and look at the sills, you can see they're all dead straight. This one's been hit here, but the actual bottom edge of the sill, there's been no jacks or anything on it. I'm able to lift this up on these rubber blocks on my ramps, and there's no creaking or cracking or anything. But you look here at the end of the sills, you know, down here, it's absolutely solid. The only bit of rust on the car is here. And this is where, if you look at the other side, I don't know if you can make it out. You can make it out there. But that's where it's a little pressing where the bump stock goes for the bumper. It's the bonnet to sit down on. So you can see there. And what it is, there's a tube And I think what a tube does is drains water from the channel down here and out, and you can see this tube coming out here. Well, on this car, that tube was back here. So instead of the water running out, it's been running into this here where it's been sandwiched, and it's probably rusted through from the outside in. So all I've done temporarily, in case it does see any rain or when it's washed, is I put some rust killer on it, some red oxide primer, the brilliant Corollas stuff, and then I've covered it in brush on sealant, so it's kind of sealed in. That is the only rust on the car. Look at the bonnet bay, look at the engine bay, look at the tops of the wings. You know, I mean, even the battery tray is absolutely solid. You can see in here, there's normally rust all along here. I mean, there's a bit of bare metal there, still shiny. Unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable. It really is in fantastic condition. So there we go, this panel along here, obviously there's bits of surface rust, stone chips or whatever, but hinges are all good. Bonnet's over there, as you can see, the bonnet's looking very nice. As I said, every panel's got a dent, even the bonnet's got a little dent in it somewhere there. So there is, a little tiny dent there. So yeah, but again, it's pretty much rust free. Look at that. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. So there we go. You can see here the driver's door. That's had a hell of a side swipe. Here's where Gabrielle fitted the new door handle for me. I've refitted this plastic panel which he gave me. I managed to get most of the dent out, but it's only for now anyway. Come around to the driver's side. You can see there, it was advertised as 142,000 kilometres, but as I'll show you in a minute, I don't think this has done that many miles. You can see here the driver's seat is gone there, which is unfortunate, but that's just bits of fluff on there from where I've been putting the sound deadening material on the seat when I took the gearbox out. So there we go. You can see coming along here, you can see it's all lovely. In fact, no, I thought this panel didn't have a dent, but it has just got one there. Look, there we go. But unfortunately, these doors will have to be cut up because they use parts of the doors to make the two doors. So it's unfortunate to cut up such good doors, but the trouble is he needs the parts that rot out. So, you know, if anybody's thinking of contacting me saying, look, I've got rotten doors, can't you swap them? I'm sorry, no, because he needs the good parts in here, which will be rotted out in yours. So what I may well do is these in the boot, if you can see down in there, down in here, down in these wells on the corner, these are absolutely solid. The boot floor is solid, all down the same there. So what I might do when you remove the rear wings is drill out the spot welds here along the bottom lip, which you can't see because this horrible plastic bumper is in the way, and then sort of cut it off here or something so that I can sell that to someone as a repair panel for theirs. So there we go, but the boot lid's all good. Look, you see boot lid's all rust free. Look at the lip on there, absolutely lovely. All along the top here, look, it's got a bit of rust. Where was it? I did see some. It's got some here. That's it. You see this has all been dented in here, so that's got to be all pulled out. And Gabrielle actually replaced that light for me as well so it could pass the MOT, which was amazing. So yeah, all in all, that's worth remembering. So all in all, really happy with it. Now, why is the engine out? Yeah, so why is the engine out? There it is behind me, completely actually stripped. You might be thinking, why? Why did you take the gearbox out? Well, I didn't like the idea of running it when I first got it because, as I say, that cam belt was very old and I was worried that if it breaks or slips, then it's going to bend the valves. Unfortunately, the car developed an oil leak as soon as I got it. When I got the car, I specifically looked underneath the car, under the engine when it was up on the trailer, and the engine was bone dry. Literally drove it 10 yards into the house from the trailer. Next day I noticed a couple of spots of oil, and I noticed the front of the engine was quite wet, like you'd leave it almost like you'd poured oil over it. That's a bit weird. Anyway, literally from moving it from the driveway into the garage, the leak had become that bad that I had a puddle like that on the floor of oil, and the front of the engine was literally dripping wet. And I thought, oh, it's blown a seal. I thought the seal on the auxiliary shaft or something had gone. So I had to take it apart anyway. And when I'm timing it up, I noticed that the the cam wheels had jumped teeth. So I think it was 3 teeth on the inlet, 2 teeth on the exhaust. So I thought, oh shit, I hope it's all okay. And then I noticed that the oil leak wasn't actually from the auxiliary shaft, it was actually from the cylinder head. And on the front of the head gasket, right at the front of the block, there is an oilway, main oilway that feeds up into the head. And it had literally blown the gasket apart. It's just there, it's pinched in place, and it had literally blown it apart. So that was where the oil was coming from. So obviously the being stood around for so long had done the head gasket no good. Maybe at some point it had been replaced with a cheap one. I don't know. But what I'm going to do when I put it back together, I will put a tiny amount, just a tiny amount of engine, you know, the I don't like to call it silicone, but the paste we use on modern engine builds. I'm going to put a tiny bit of that on the gasket either side, just to give it that actual stiction to hold it in place. And I think that'll help. But I've had one go before on one of my Lancias I had years ago. It's basically the same engine. This is the 1367 C1 engine, which I think is the best 1300. It's like 75 horsepower or something. But it's an 8-valve twin cam, 5 main bearing, wonderful little engine. And it's basically the same as a 1600 or a 2 litre. Just the bores are smaller and the valves are slightly smaller, but the valves on this are much bigger than the older 1300 twin cam. So yeah, the only trouble is the 1367 was never available in the UK as far as I know. The 1367 twin cam, that is not the Uno engine, the twin cam. As far as I know, it was never available in the UK market, so parts aren't that easy to get. So I've had to buy a full engine set for a 1600 Super Mirafiori and buy a gasket set from Italy, sorry, a head gasket from Italy, to actually build up a full set. So that's all the seals, everything will be replaced. I mean, whatever, if it's never been rebuilt, all this stuff is 43 years old, so it all needs to be replaced anyway. So anyway, well, head's got to come off to do the head gasket. So when I took the head off, I noticed on the top of the pistons some little shiny marks where it had hit the valves. And sure enough, the valves had been hit. And I only spotted on 2 of them initially. One of them was bent quite bad, and I couldn't understand why one would be bent worse than the others. I don't know. But then I noticed 3 of them were bent. So I thought, well, I initially straightened them out. I thought that'd be okay. And then I'm thinking, well, if it has fractured the metal at all, or I fractured it by hitting it back, then, you know, I just can't risk it, because if a valve goes, it'll just smash the whole engine to pieces and that'll be worthless. So, and I think it's a beautiful little engine, the 1367. It really is. All the little twin cams are lovely, the little screamers. So I thought I'll replace the valve springs. I'll replace the valves. So I eventually found some after a lot of searching, and luckily they were wrongly advertised. So I eventually found some, and they're on their way now as we speak. I've had to get those from Italy as well. So yeah, I thought, well, I'll take all the valves out of the head and give everything a good clean and everything. So that was a nightmare. The collets were absolutely welded into the retainers. I actually broke my spring compressor trying to get it apart. And yeah, before you say it, I did tap all the retainers down, but they just didn't want to let go. And then I discovered one of the valve springs was bent. So the valve, obviously it had been stood so long with obviously at least 2 valves held open. One of the, I think it was the exhaust valve on number 2, the spring remained compressed. It didn't return to its size. And then I put all the springs next to each other. They're all over the place. So they've all sort of lost all their seat straight. So I bought a new set of springs as well from Ricambi Auto in the UK. I'll put a link down in the comments below. So there we go. So then when I'm looking at the engine, I noticed the back of the engine looked a bit wet. So I thought, well, I may as well do all the crank seals as well. And then I couldn't get the bell housing bolts undone. They were absolutely solid. So I thought the gearbox has got to come out. And that was a complete and utter nightmare, because the Haynes manual is useless. It only covers the early box. The earlier Fiat 131s had a very long gear stick that came out of the gearbox. And now they've got an extended remote, so you've got a shorter gear stick. But they don't cover that in the Haynes manual. I think they do in words, but you've got to really know what you're doing before you just start looking at it. And I cut my hand and cut my arm, and you can see the great big hole in the tunnel. There's a big panel that comes out that's screwed in. So yeah, that's why the gearbox is out. I didn't want to take the gearbox out, but I had to. And then when I lifted it out, it had to come out on such an angle that all the oil was pissing out the gearbox anyway, where the gear stick hole was. So it's just an absolute utter nightmare. But again, got it out, got it on the floor, put a big bar bolted to it and stood on a crowbar, and all the bolts cracked undone. But they're obviously just seized in there where they've been so long. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be it for the first video. On this channel we'll see engine building, as I say, we'll see the building of the car, stripping of the car, some welding, some repairs. Hopefully we'll do some video up at Rally Sport Developments, and then we'll do some models as well. If you want to see some model builds or whatever, we can do some book reviews. I've got some lovely books. I've got one beautiful book on the 131 Abarth. So yeah, really, this should be a really popular channel if you like your Fiats. Or maybe you just like watching me because of my other channels, but whatever, please hit that subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and then we'll see how many people want to jump on the bandwagon, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be quite an interesting little channel. We'll maybe do some driving videos, maybe, I don't know. We shall see. But I won't be driving it I certainly won't be going very far in it. I've also got a special little trip planned. More about that later, and if that takes off, then that'll be some really interesting footage. So there we go. I think I've said all I need to say. So basically now I'm cleaning parts, I've painted the block, I'm waiting for bits to come. FedEx are supposed to be coming today with the springs, the gasket set and the head gasket, but as yet nothing. They're saying that delivery is today, but the tracking shows it's currently in Croydon. So Croydon and Gloucester are a bit too far out for one afternoon in a van, I think. So we'll see what happens. So thank you for watching. I know this has been a load of waffling, but it was just sort of a bit of an introduction, really, a little bit of an introduction to me, introduction to the car, why the engine's out and what I'm doing. So hopefully you'll see another video from me soon, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe. So thank you for watching again. Bye for now.